Good Thursday afternoon to you. Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights. This weather video driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin City, Subaru, and 802 Honda. They're all located off of exit 7 on Interstate 89. Currently just a lot of clouds to show across the region. And we have one area of low pressure that's departing. This is the surface low. You can see a lot of cloud cover, occasionally some little bit of a snow flurry activity, and just enough to coat things up on some area roads, but mostly not looking too bad across the state of Vermont. In terms of temperatures currently right now, we're running not too far from the freezing mark, and life near 32 is a slippery one. Looking at the 500 millibar or hectopascal pattern here, you can see a trough of lower pressure with a cutoff low that's advancing north and east eventually. And this is pulling away from our region. It's going to allow a ridge of higher pressure to build into the region, this ridge of higher pressure here. However, it does look like a lot of the moisture that's off to the west of us is going to be pushed off to the south, and then eventually more moisture will work in with an area of low pressure, kind of a double tandem, that's going to work its way across the southeast United States, up the eastern seaboard, and eventually right overhead and right through Vermont. This will be developing and kicking off across the Carolinas and strengthening. And this will tighten up the pressure gradient, so there'll be a relatively strong east to northeasterly wind interacting with the southern and central Green Mountains. There could be some downsloping winds, and winds right now look like advertised anywhere from 40 to 60 miles per hour with the highest gust across the spine of the Greens. Lesser winds, at least at this point, across northern Vermont, but this also comes with a little bit of a precipitation shield that'll also bring and feature some wet snow. As that precipitation shield advances north, eventually will change to rain. That'll take place sometime arriving in the mid to late morning hours on Saturday, continuing through probably the mid-afternoon on Saturday, and eventually by later in the day, later in the afternoon, we should see all rain with improving travel conditions across the state of Vermont from south to north. This is the European model, and we're looking at 6-hourly increments. You see that a little bit of flurry activity dries up. Still a couple stray flurries during the overnight period tonight into the early morning hours on Friday. That moves on out, and we get a good project weather day, and temperatures not too far from 32. We'll get back into the region during the overnight period on Friday night. And that period right there will set the stage, as we'll have below normal temperatures in northern Vermont, marginally close to 32 degrees across parts of southern Vermont, and mostly rain that's going to try to overrun and push into the region. So this is precipitation type using the European model with the 6-hourly increments. You can see now we're talking some wet snow, kind of a rain-snow mix. This is going to continue to work its way northward with a pretty good shot of rain. This is valid about 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. And then that heads on to the north. No other issues in terms of precipitation for travel. You can see a lot of the nastier accumulating snows and mixed precipitation, including pockets of freezing rain, heads north. Now, in the past, this has been modeled across a lot of Vermont, but transitions in the later days here, the last 3 days, have pushed a lot of that out of the region. Our main concern will be winds, but as you look at precipitation type for this period here, this is valid about 2 o'clock on Monday. No other real shots of snow until we get very much on the tail end. This is going to be on Tuesday, and a lot of that moves on out, so maybe some tail end wet snow flurries. And temperatures will be more in the 30s to 40s by this point in time. Let's take a look at the wind. Okay, checking the current winds again, state of Vermont here, and this is this afternoon. These are wind gusts. So we'll see those winds begin to develop across the southern Appalachians. Same kind of thing that occurs across the western slopes of the Green Mountains also takes place in the southern Appalachians, and here you can find wind gusts over 50 miles per hour. So this is valid on Friday morning. This should be a good day for us. And you can see what happens here as that storm system, with the remnants of ex-Hurricane Willa, begins to push into the region. Now it's pushing a lot more wind in here as we get kind of a double tandem area of low pressure pushing through. And you can see this is valid about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We got gusts that'll be over 60 miles per hour in some of the summits of the Greens. And you can see that that's the main target area. Fairly narrow pieces of real estate, however, It does look like we're going to see some marginally strong winds. Then that moves on out, and not a whole lot going on in the wind elements here as we go later into the middle part of next week. GFS ensemble centered on Montpelier, Vermont. This is precipitation, and this would be tomorrow, Friday, the 26th, the 27th. These are 0Z, 12Z, that's the morning, and then this is the afternoon. This is our Saturday rainfall, and you can see it's a pretty healthy one, and then things begin to sort of shuffle on out with lighter precipitation. No other real issues there. And using that darker black line, you can see at least for the city of Montpelier, roughly in comparison with the European, it's pretty close, around a ½ inch, so not a big deal really for central and northern Vermont. Most of the heavier rains will be falling across southern parts. This is weather prediction total 7-day QPF, the quantitative precipitation forecast. And you can see this blue line here, this is about 1 inch, that's a ½ inch in the green. And you can see heavier rainfall up to 3 inches off the coast. And the southwest desert areas dry up completely. Pacific Northwest begins to pick up rainfall. In somewhat of a storm track, this is that moisture working its way across the southeast United States and then up off the coast and then out to sea. The bulk of the heaviest precipitation associated with Wilma, or Willa, is going to be to our east and out over the Atlantic Ocean. 2-meter temperature is off surface, so pretty cold day today, cold night tonight, and then you can see daytime high for tomorrow. That would be Friday, Friday night, Saturday. Saturday night we stay above freezing. There is Sunday with a nice warm-up. Temperatures could even hit 50 to 55 during the day on Sunday. Then those temperatures begin to fall somewhat, and we're back a little bit below freezing by the time we get toward the 31st. That's beyond the period. This is next 5 days of maximum temperatures, and we're starting to see neutral to just 3 degrees below normal as temperatures make a little bit of a rise over the course of the next several days. What about 3 days later? This is where we're setting up a little bit colder again on the backside of that warming trend that we're going to see as we get into Sunday, and then things cool down just a little bit. We have one tropical disturbance to work with. This will probably become Nadine, 80% chance for tropical cyclone formation. No threats to North America. That's it. Roger Hill at Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.